This was a car that was originally ordered by Lord Victor Rothschild of the famous Rothschild banking family. This was a car that was fast, it was sleek, it was low, it was well ahead of its time. Behind me is the 1936 Bugatti Type 57 SC Atlantic, which was Jean Bugatti's masterpiece and arguably one of the most spectacular automobiles ever created. The Atlantic is considered to be a masterpiece because it was radical in its time, avant-garde design that borrowed heavily from the aviation industry and was mated with Bugatti's most sophisticated chassis, most powerful power plant, its straight 8, dual overhead cam, supercharged engine, which produced about 170 horsepower and which allowed it to drive at speeds of 125 miles an hour. 1936, that was quite something. The feature that most people point to is the raised fin or the spine that runs the full length of the car, in fact actually wraps underneath the rear of the car. That was a design feature that was developed directly from aviation because aviation employed rivets as a means of attachment, specifically when you were working with light alloys. It's very difficult, obviously, when you're talking about the highest end of the collector car world to speak with any sort of certainty about what sort of values cars have commanded. When this car was sold last publicly in 1971, it commanded a price of $59,000. Now, that was a world record at that time. There's been a lot of speculation as to how much was paid for the car here when it sold in 2010. And I think that whatever that number is, it's fair to presume that it should be a world record. But I have heard of, and in fact know some people who've paid in excess of $28 million for a car. Then that would mean that this car should be in the vicinity of $30 or $40 million. What you're talking about is not something that's simply made of aluminum and steel and paint and rubber and leather, but rather something that's a masterpiece of sculpture that's rolling art.